and
which,
now NFTs, which is amazing.
you describe yourself as an NFT maximalist, which I know is a bit of a joke because you like Bitcoin too. But could you describe to the audience, because it's still somewhat unknown, even if
Yep.
you are in crypto, what is the revolution here with non-fungible tokens, and maybe what catalyst is needed for NFTs to go mainstream next year?
Yeah, so I think that part of the misnomer, the misconception here is that if you like NFTs, you can somehow bet on NFTs as a space and grow with it. And that's just not the reality. The reality is that each NFT is completely unique. And so, there's very few easy ways to just blanket and get exposure to the space. This is a little different than DeFi, where you could say, hey, here's 10 DeFi tokens, buy them all, 10% each, and you have a DeFi portfolio. NFTs represent just the ability to kind of store anything on the blockchain. And I think that the advantage they have is that it's not a direct competition for the things that people are too ingrained in their heads as facts, which is, why do I need another dollar? I have my US dollars. They work fine. And so I think that's a lot of problems for people with Bitcoin is, why would I want another money? I have my money. So I think the thing that NFTs bring is the ability to just bring anything onto the blockchain in any form, even baskets of coins or assets, real world assets, digital assets. I think what NFTs are is just sort of this wholly untapped resource, but it's also hard because you're not going to be able to just ride on a trend that easy. You're going to have to really do work to find assets of value. But I also believe that the opportunity there to really bring new people into the space is huge. And that's why I've been focusing on games, because across the entire world, the place that people are buying digital stuff is within video games. And I think, there's there's 2.5 billion gamers in the world, and many of them are very, very well positioned to become crypto heads. They just don't know it. And so that's kind of my position is, of all these assets, of all these types of assets, that's one I could see totally getting popular.
And do you think that, I don't know, I guess the future for a lot of these cryptocurrencies is just varying levels of centralization, right?
Hmm.
Like if
Yeah.
it's if you have a game, it's going to be controlled by the company.
Yeah, so I think there's various ways that it could happen, right? And if you're talking about an in-game crypto, yes. But there's no need to have an in-game crypto per se. You could have all the assets on the blockchain without it having a currency for the game. And so to me, it's there's a balance. But yeah, there's 100% issues with centralization. And as you guys well know, you can make the case of centralization even for Bitcoin, even for Ethereum, right? And so I don't think to me, it's less about finding a perfect system. And I know that the general audience doesn't know, or really, we're talking about people outside crypto, the concept of decentralization has probably never occurred to most of them. And in fact is seen as a positive for a lot. You're talking about, I have friends that live in China. They see the sort of authoritarian government as a strong positive. They like that. We see a brand like Nike, like Google. We like that. We know that this was made by Nike, made by Google, made by Apple. And so, I think that the concept of decentralization is important, but not a marketing ploy, right? It's only marketing for the 0.0000% of people inside the Uniswap ecosystem, maybe. And so I think that there are issues with centralization, but I see it as phases. Let's first get people even using this stuff. Let's get them involved. Let's get them having, some exposure, which is why the PayPal news today, I see it all as positive, right? Because is this a perfect system? No, not even close. But is this slightly closer? Is this slightly closer than what we had before? Yeah. And so I see it happening in phases. And so it's like the Rome wasn't built in a day type thing. Let's just get people even touching this stuff. And then we can try to get better.
What are the most popular NFT? I know Rarible marketplaces and also NFTs or coins, I guess. What's the hype right now?
So the hype, there are several hypes going on, but essentially the biggest issue with NFTs is that they're not valuable. That's the problem. You have these assets, but they're like a crypto kitty, I think is just the greatest example. This was the first NFT craze. Did they create the ERC 721? Regardless, it was the first instance of people taking just not tokens and trading them. Well, I guess they're tokens, but not actual currencies. And it was just a cat. And the cat was rare, but what does the cat do for me? And I can screenshot that cat and put it all over my wall. And there was a lot of issues to me, but it demonstrated that there is a demand for rare things online. But the problem is that they weren't valuable. And so that's another reason why video games I think of as a really good entree for this, because, okay, so what? You screenshotted my character, but you can't play as that character in the game. Only I can because I have the token. So now there's utility. I think that physical stuff, maybe that's 5-10 years away, because, okay, so I buy your NFT for a car. How do I get the keys? Who do I call? Who's holding the car? There's a ton of systems that are still very much so not developed. So while I love it when people talk about, NFTs for like houses and deeds and whatever, it feels very, very far away to me before that's actually a really sensible system. Whereas we can create a smart contract that would allow you to flip video game assets, that's already exists. So the biggest missing link to me, there's no games. Well, there are games, but there's very few, and there's no hit games. And so, if Fortnite were to introduce this, it would be massively successful. So the missing link to me is in the actual product. And it brings us full circle again to the product thing, which is if we had one great, amazing game that was really popular, I think everyone would be a crypto head overnight, because why not? The problem is that a lot of these game studios are actually kind of disincentivized to add crypto, because if you can buy it, if Austin can buy it from literally any one of our other players, then it takes away from the game studio's bottom line. And so, Fortnite, if someone wants a skin, they got to buy it firsthand. There's no trading. And so there's really no incentive for them to add these features. In fact, they would probably lose money. But we see it as a long play of once people get that vitamin that they feel makes their experience better, they'd be more interested in sort of pressuring other developers to add it. But I see the big studios kind of dragging their feet, and for good reason.
All right. Great perspective. I like it. To listen to the full conversation, there's a link and details down below in the description. Highly recommend. And click subscribe right now. We drop daily videos breaking down cryptocurrency, breaking down the market. You do not want to miss a video. Like always, see you tomorrow.